I was asked to come here and speak with you all about the expenses that we incur in operating the animal shelter here in Orange County. As everyone knows, the animal shelter is privately owned and operated by a nonprofit organization, the Humane Society. I provided you a profit and loss statement for the year 2011. As Judge Osborne indicated, the county has a contract with us to provide services for you, and we get $1,833 a month. The last time that the county increased our monthly budget was about the year 2004. So it's been quite some time since we've had an increase from the court. But as we know, expenses, utilities, everything involved in running the animal shelter has increased significantly in the past 8 or 9 years, significantly. Even though the profit loss statement here indicates that we have quite a bit of money of contributions in other monies coming in, part of that money was from the grant that you all gave us last year to give us a new heating and cooling system, and we appreciate that very much. So the numbers are a little bit skewed because of the $10,000 grant that you gave us last year to help do some of those repairs. In case some of you aren't aware, the animal shelter is coming upon 20 years old. So, you know, there are needed repairs, expenses to keep the shelter operating as efficiently and effectively, you know, as it can. We've indicated that our payroll alone costs us in excess of $29,000 a year. That's just for payroll. And then the utilities, you know, the phone, the electric, the water, those utilities are in excess of $8,600 a month. And then payroll taxes are getting us at $9,500 a month. So as you can see, just those expenses alone are above and beyond what the fiscal court has been able to provide help for us. We do continue to operate by asking for donations and doing fundraisers. And believe me, we do everything that we can, and we look at every opportunity we can to help support ourselves. We're not here just with our hands out, but we're here saying we're doing all we can, and can you all help us just a little bit more? So what we're asking for, if possible, is if you could give us $200 a month more, if you possibly can. And I've done the calculations. When we received an increase in 2004, the court gave us a 10% increase from the previous amount. The $200 more a month actually would be 10.9% increase from what we're currently getting.
John, we've got some, we put those two new garbage haulers on last week. The way I understand it, we've got people coming in here from out of county that's taking their business, and I think we need to see what we can do to.
Well, they don't have permits, so they shouldn't be in here after. I mean, they've got commercial, but they should be home on family garbage.
Well, anything we can.
What we do, Mike, just write them a letter, tell them they're not allowed in Orange County Hall.
For residential,
yeah.
Their permits for
just
like commercial use on who is it that's doing it?
Park sanitation and Paintsville.
Do you have the
Apple back Paintsville?
Okay, and do you have the person's name? That's
I think we got it.
okay. I'll write a letter and I'll mail a copy of it to all of you all. Have you had a complaint warning from someone? In
well, what it is, they're taking these people's business. You know that we voted in last week, and they're coming in taking their business. We're not getting enough.
And still taking.
Somebody here to speak for the trash?
Yeah, right here.
Which one?
This will be.
Line down 201 towards Lane, and then up 32 towards Elliott County, and across Blaine Hill, and I think they're going up Brushy, and down 201 towards Carter County.
Okay. And I think they're going to make in that creek back across.
And then they're on 23 coming into Meats Branches.
Yeah.
If you'll stay till after the meeting, I'll get your address and phone number, and I'll write a letter from the fiscal court on your behalf to them, and then that way I'll have contact information for you, but you know what their response was.
Okay.
What's your name, please?
Anita Wilson.
Anita Wilson. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Our office has to physically in court every day of the month
except for 2 Fridays. And like I said, on all these other cases, likewise, you have to spend time on it. I do have right now 2 assistants. One is provided for by the fiscal court, and the other one is provided for by the state. I can tell you without revealing their salaries that the majority of their salary is paid by my private law firm and not paid by the fiscal court or the state, okay? But both of my assistants spend an inordinate amount of their time is spent working on public matters relative to the amount of dollars that they receive. I think one of my assistants receives $26,000 a year. I can tell you he's making more than half that out of my private office, but he spends more than half his time working in these cases. The need is there. I understand the fiscal court's problem from a financial perspective, and certainly if the money's not there, then I understand that. Morris, I understand your position, and I honor your position. It would not be anything personal to me if you were to vote against it, because I understand the way you have voted consistently since you took office 2 years ago against increases in payroll and increases in help. But my request is valid. The help is needed. Unfortunately, the county has been the one to have to make up the need, and not the state. The state has not stepped up at all for the county or Commonwealth attorneys. As a matter of fact, this last budget cycle, the Department of Public Advocacy, who is the Public Defender's Office, received a $6 million increase in their funding from the General Assembly, while the Commonwealth and County Attorney's Office respectfully each lost over $1.8 million statewide and had to furlough 12 full-time employees statewide out of the Prosecutor's Advisory Council and various other Commonwealth Attorney's Office. And I think the number was furloughs and loss of 12 to 18 full and part-time positions statewide by the County Attorney's Office. So the county attorneys have traditionally relied on their fiscal courts to get their funding. The last position was added to my office. Excuse me, I have water here. The last position that was added to my office was added in Phil Carr's administration. That's actually the position that Denise Maynard currently occupies. That position was funded by the increase in delinquent tax collections. Excuse me. The position itself, traditionally, when it was given by Judge Carter's administration, was thought to have been a no-loss situation, whereas the county is willing to put extra money into that position with the understanding that it was my office's obligation to collect delinquent property taxes. And I can report to you all, and you all can go look back through the numbers, that the county has actually gained money by this position because the increase in delinquent tax collection has more than made up for the position funding, including what would be paid out in Social Security, matching funds, as well as retirement and health insurance. So that position that was added some, I don't know, 10 years ago almost, has more than paid for itself. Right now I have one employee that's only making $16,000 a year. She's a full-time employee. She is a mother of 2, trying to raise her children on that. And everybody in this room knows that with the cost of gasoline and groceries and the increase in everything else, that you can't raise 2 kids on $16,000 a year. My request is for one additional position at $26,000 a year. That's a position that will also pay by the fiscal court all the Social Security, Medicare, reimbursement of matching funds, as well as the health insurance, and the Kentucky retirement pay is what, 16.9 now?
It's 18.96 right now.
It's okay, I calculated on 16.9.
It's going down to 19.55.
19.55 for non-hazardous employees. Okay. calculated the retirement contribution and health insurance retirement at less than $32,000 for that position. If you don't honor my request in regard to putting this new position then in the alternative, I would ask that the one position I have that's currently funded at $16,000 a year be increased to $26,000. With that being said, I'll ask that any members of the fiscal court have any questions or any members of the public want to address this. I'd be more than glad to answer any questions.